Hey, it's Ken with ASM, and today we're looking at the Hydrasynth Deluxe version 2.0. One of the beautiful aspects of Hydrasynth 2.0 is that we have a wonderful bank of new features, such as oscillator bit reduction, envelope quantize, LFO quantize, 8 banks, more resolution over your vibrato, and much, much more. But the beautiful thing about Hydrasynth is that all of these features would be nothing if it wasn't quick and intuitive to use. So I'm going to create a patch quickly and easily on the Hydrasynth. Let's create a nice smooth pad sound. So first I'm going to start with my oscillator, and I'm going to turn on wave scan, and I'm going to create my own wavetable. I'm just going to press random until I see a waveform that strikes my fancy here, and then I hold shift and turn the knob and it populates all the waveforms here. This is going to be 24-bit interpolation, so you don't have to worry about them sounding steppy unless you want them to. So let's take a listen to the wavetable I've created. And that top waveform is mighty bright, so I'm going to use that with the polyphonic aftertouch of the Polytouch keybed. So all I need to do to create a modulation destination is LFO to oscillator, and I'm going to select my wave scan here and select the amount. And let's go ahead and take that to polyphonic aftertouch. So now I can affect timbre per key, and let's make this envelope a little bit more drawn out and beautiful. So let's give this a nice smooth envelope here, and we're going to do the same for our filter. What's beautiful about the filter here is filter 1 has 16 different filter models inside of it. Each one of these filter models is custom to the Hydrasynth and designed using machine learning, so they're very accurate to their sources. Let's do something that maybe you haven't heard on another synthesizer. This is our low-pass thriller filter. This was modeled on a filter from my own Eurorack. So we've got this kind of smooth, bassy sound is coming in there, and that's because the resonance on the thriller filter will actually boost your bass response up. And we'll give it just a little bit more envelope. And this is just one oscillator, and we're going to use what's called our mutants here. Now the mutants are effects that apply to the oscillator, and we can use these to really shape our sound. Let's go ahead and bring this in a bit. So that's just one mutant here, and that's stacking waves. It's making 5 multiples of that waveform. And let's bring in oscillator 2. I'm going to drop oscillator 1's level down a little bit, and I'll bring in oscillator 2. And oscillator 2 we'll make a new wavetable out of this one. Here we go. And what I think would be really cool to do with this is make this sound a little bit more digital and sparkly on the second oscillator. So we're going to bring it up an octave. And we're going to take the bit reduction down to about 6, maybe 5. And let's have a looping envelope bring that oscillator up a bit. So we'll set up a nice BPM synced envelope, which means each stage here is going to be synced to BPM. So I'll set that at an 8th note attack, an 8th note decay. I'll give it a 1/4 note release on here. And then all I need to do is turn on envelope looping. I can make that infinite. And that is going right away to our mixer. So all I have to do is envelope 3 to the mixer, oscillator 2 volume, let's say we want more control over that. Right now with the polyphonic aftertouch, I have that harmonic movement going on, but let's say I want to speed up that envelope with polyphonic aftertouch. So let's take LFO5 to envelope 3. That's going to go to attack, and we're going to drop it down. And instead of using LFO5, I'm going to change that to be polyphonic aftertouch. And I'm going to do the same for its release, or its decay, excuse me. And now, let's make sure that that's polyphonic aftertouch. Now when I dig into the note a bit, and maybe we want to step a little bit further with this. Let's go ahead and use that same polyphonic aftertouch to bring in our reverb. So now, and we'll even set a nice long reverb. And maybe we want to have some per voice modulation there as well. So I can go into the voice mode, and part of 2.0 has this new feature called voice mod, and that lets me set an offset per voice in the Hydrasynth. So each one of these voices is going to respond slightly different from the other. And there we go. So now I'll take voice to filter. Have each voice is going to change the cutoff just a little bit different. We'll have voice to our wave scan. So the wave scan position will be slightly different. And then we'll do voice to our release. So the release will be different on each voice as well. And I can go into here and set it to voice rotate. Now, add in some delay. Let's do a nice reverse delay. That's something that you don't see on a lot of synths. And all of these parameters are modulatable. So if I want to say modulate that delay to come in and out, I can certainly do that. And we'll have our dry wet be modulated from a unipolar LFO. And what's going to be really cool about this is I can take this LFO and I can set it to trig sync off, which means it's just a free running LFO. It runs on its own time, does its own thing, just kind of lives. And it's that easy to create an evolving, beautiful sound on Hydrasynth. So this has been the Hydrasynth Deluxe, and you can pick one up now over at Chuck Levin's Washington Music Center, and you can grab it online at chucklevins.com.